Let's go. Episode number 100 going to 1,000.
Oh, man. Welcome to the More Life podcast, where creatives, problem solvers, and entrepreneurs talk about squeezing more out and finding meaning in this crazy thing we call life. Let's dive in. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the More Life podcast. I'm your host, Bart, if you're new around here. And this is episode
number
100.
100.
I know you thought we...
Yeah, you don't know the thing.
You said we couldn't make it, but we made it.
I feel that Drake energy.
Yeah, like DJ Khaled. They said we were not gonna make it to 100, so we did it anyway.
But guess what? But God did.
God did.
God did.
Guys, if you didn't figure it out yet, I'm here with the one and only Tristan Barrocks, the digital storyteller. If you didn't know, it was the only one. It's only one name.
Only one.
And his name is Tristan. Tristan, say what's up to the people.
What's up? How you doing? It's your boy, Tristan Barrocks here, the digital storyteller. I'm super excited to be here for the More Life podcast.
This is my worst best friend.
The More Life podcast, brethren.
We just had somebody on our show, and they're promoting their episode on social media. They called it the More Than Life podcast.
that was definitely Christianese. The More Than Life podcast.
Oh boy! So Tristan, you were our first official guest of this podcast 3 years ago at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah,
and now we're at episode 100. It felt only fitting to have you here with us. To kind of talk about what the heck has changed in your life. Because where are we right now?
Well, first of all, we are in the headquarters of Seneca University, or college. It's not a university, it's a college.
Polytechnic.
Polytechnic.
We're going through a rebrand right now.
I feel like they need to have that Alexandria. That's what it feels like. Polytechnica. Anyways, listen, it's been amazing journey since last 3 years. I think, first of all, before I even get started, I want to say congratulations. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, fam.
You took the baton as I started the journey, and then I fell off into the abyss of forgetfulness and stopped my podcast. You just went on, keep on charging along. You have a great team, a great system in place. You can't stop. Well, you know what? We're not going to quote Diddy. We're not going to quote. No. Diddy's canceled.
Yeah, Brother Love is done.
That's it. But what I will say is that, again, congratulations not on just making it to episode 100, but actually being committed to the process of creating content that's going to last longer than you. And I think that's super important, you know, as a person of integrity, or a person, you know, a black creative person that is trying to always stay up and stay focused and stay successful. You already know this journey, right? Mm-hmm. You know it can be super discouraging. You know that can be a lonely path and journey to bear by yourself, and to be able to get to this place. Listen, man, listen. I don't want to even give the good news yet, because some things are coming along, because this man is my inspiration now. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of like what I've been doing, man, 3 years ago, I don't think I was in the commercial field. I'm a commercial film director now. I just directed last year my very first film called Wallflower. A feature film, I should say, and that's actually going to premiere on the I was going to say Black Effect Podcast Network, but it's not. It's gonna. This is where this podcast is going to go soon.
We're going blackout everywhere. Okay?
But it's actually Wallflower is actually going to be premiering on December 1st.
Okay.
And it's going to be on the All Black Network, and you can find that on Fuse Television, which is a fast TV network, or you can connect. If you're in Canada, you can watch it on Pluto.
Okay.
All Black Network.
You want to know how I know this guy is big time right now, and he's taking over my podcast as we speak? He just said a plug for a production that he did using a bunch of words I've never heard of. It's a Views network.
Fuse. So Fuse is a fast
content.
Yeah, fast TV network. So fast TV, for those of you that don't know, is basically traditional TV on the internet.
Didn't they have that before in Hiya or whatever, and then they got canceled?
Yeah, no. It's so there's Heya, there's so many different. I mean, really, YouTube is the first fast TV network.
Got it.
Right? It's essentially YouTube, but now all the other broadcasters are creating their own sub networks.
So broadcasters now is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I mean, really excited about that. Within the last 3 years, I also was able to write my first feature film.
Okay.
I'm actually working on my own sitcom called Diaries of an Average Black Dad. We're working on our first pilot for that, and yeah, things have been going really well. We're at Seneca because we're both professors.
I don't know how that happened.
Put some respect on my name and make sure it's British respect. Okay, thank you. If you don't have your Prince Charles accent to address me, then please don't. But yeah, no, we're teaching and we're empowering the next generation.
Creative arts and animation.
Yeah,
we out here.
We out here in these streets.
Wow. The joke is we both also came to this school at the same time.
Yes. Without knowing each other.
Not knowing each other 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
20 years ago or 19 years ago, we were both in this building. Now, you graduated. I left. I was like, yo, peace out.
No, I mean, listen, I did a 2-year, diploma, associate's degree type of thing. And it was in digital media arts. And at the time, honestly, all I really cared about was learning more about video, more about editing, more about filming, right? And so everything else was just kind of gravy. But a lot of those skills that I learned in this building helped me get to the point that I'm at. You know what I mean? Even though I'm not into web, I'm not into graphic design, a lot of those disciplines and a lot of those principles have kind of inspired me and influenced the type of work I've created.
Yeah, I'm super excited about even the growth that I've seen in myself, teaching here the last, 3-4 months already. You're just learning how people are thinking, how a new way to think of collaboration. You're helping inspire and move people into a new sphere of their life. Because you got young people who, for lack of a better term, are like, they lived through a pandemic, so their whole education system has been thrown in a loop, and then you get them here in the post-secondary system, and they're not necessarily ready. I'm like, oh, if you don't get even a little bit of experience or guidance, you're going to get eaten alive, and you're never going to realize your dreams.
Well, this is I think this is the fundamental issue and opportunity for us as professors, right? It's how do we take the reality of what we know and translate it into the world of learning and education, right? And one of the things I tell my students all the time, good or bad, whether or not they totally subscribe to it, it's up to them. But I said, like, outside of this building, nobody cares about your GPA.
Nope.
Nobody cares about your grades outside of this building.
Work speaks for itself, yo.
Work and attitude.
Oh, yeah.
And ideas. The best idea wins. The person who's engaged, who's leaning in, who's going above and beyond and creating the role that may not even exist right now. Yeah. Right? That understands the technology, but also understands what they bring to the technology. Those are the students that are going to be winning. And so oftentimes I see students who are maybe not always engaged or don't understand the importance of bringing their own personal brand to the conversation. What they think is, here, look at my social media, or look at my grades, or look at my great work that I made. And that'll get your foot in the door, but that's not going to keep you. I just said to my students, just a couple of students a couple hours ago, I said, your work will get you in the door.
Yes.
Your resume will get you a conversation. But your attitude and your personality will keep you in that room.
Oh, 100%.
And so, unfortunately, if you are socially awkward or you don't understand,
it's going to be hard.
The power of interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
Looking at people, talking to people, sharing your ideas, having the courage to push back.
It doesn't say that you'll never happen, but you need to be a savant like artists.
Yes.
Then you can have, and even then you have to have wins.
Yes.
Like, you have to have done it multiple times for people to be like, you know what, it's worth it for us to deal with somebody who may not necessarily be a team player or be socially acute. But if you have the results that you can produce, then fine, but you need to be world renowned. Yeah. If you're not world renowned and people, Vanity Fair is not calling you and, a Creative Arts magazine is not calling you, then you know what, then you need to humble yourself and learn how to
collaborate. It's the most powerful. I never forget we were on a set one time, and we might have even talked about this the last time we were on the podcast. We were on a set with a mutual person that we know. I'll just say person that we know, and seeing how many times and how he had to convey the thought and idea in his mind to different aspects and different departments for this shoot to go well. That's one of the first time I realized, okay, this probably might be one of the hardest things on planet Earth to do.
Oh yeah,
because you multiply that by a film set for like a motion picture for 1,000 people.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop. Like, I mean, I look at like Wallflower. Wallflower started from an idea that was in Safia Bartholomew. Shout out to Safia Bartholomew and Curran Carter. They are the partners in crime that created Wallflower.
Nice.
And their production company is called Cry Creative. Check them out. They had to have the idea, and then they now had to translate that idea
and
trust in me and in the producer to then entrust it into the department heads.
Yeah, I know.
To then entrust it into the performers and into the PAs, and then to trust it into the production team, then the post-production team, the editors, the colorists, the audio person, the sound person.
Unreal.
So think about how many hands need to touch a project in order for it to be just functional, not successful, not great. Just how many hands it has to touch in order for it to be completed. And then think about how hard it is to tell one person what your vision is and then communicate that to now 100 people. And so this is why I go back to the student success. The way I'm gauging student success is not upon a grade. Do you understand the concepts? Are you able to apply those concepts and elevate it?
Yes.
Because here's the thing. As a manager, a director is a manager.
Basically.
A director is a visionary, is a leader, right? All I'm doing is managing vision. That's what I'm doing as a director. And so if I have to manage your department, then I don't know if I can trust you. And if there's no trust, there's no confidence. If there's no confidence, then it means more work for me.
100%.
And so as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a manager, I wouldn't even say manager, but I would say leader, visionary, right? Entrepreneur, you have to have people that can solve problems for you.
100%.
I don't want you to tell me what the problem is. I understand what the problem is. Can you solve it? Because there's certain things I don't need to hear until you solve it and you tell me how you solved it.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm getting on a tangent. Why do you look so much taller than me?
Move up the chair, bro.
This is as far as my stomach can't get. I mean, that's all I got. There we go. Okay, maybe
So I'm going to go down lower?
No, there we go. Finally, we're on the same level. Jeez. All right.
For those of you watching online, I was a little bit taller than Tristan. For those of you that are listening, I said it backwards. It doesn't even matter anymore. You're here. Tristan, we were, last time we were talking 3 years ago. We've spoken since then, but since we last recorded it, your wife wasn't working with you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man, that's been like. I mean, my wife wasn't working with me. We were in COVID.
Yeah.
It was just a mess. So my wife has been with us now for about a year and a half, 2 years.
You're speaking about her as if she was just born.
I know.
Has been with us.
She's been with us.
She was born
in Barracks Inc. And oh, how she is so cute. So what I will say is, and I'm going to tell a little bit of a personal story because I think it's important and it's indicative of what COVID kind of represented to a lot of us. COVID was, for a lot of us, a rebirthing opportunity, right? And if you didn't get a chance to have that rebirth, you still have an opportunity now because any day you want to rebirth, you can do it. And when I talk about rebirth, I mean rebranding yourself, discovering yourself, redefining who you are, what you wanted out of your life, out of your career, et cetera, out of your business. We had a devastating thing happen to us the September, the fall going into 2020, which was, well, it wasn't going to 2020. It was the fall of 2020, where we had a miscarriage, and Natanya had a miscarriage, who's my wife, and it was devastating for both of us. But it was more for her, and I was kind of focused on her.
Sure.
And at the time, I was doing a lot of content creating. I was growing my YouTube channel. I was getting endorsements, all that sort of stuff. And I kind of came to a point where I was a little burnt out, but then I was also really focused on like my wife who was hurting.
Yep.
And at the same time, she couldn't stop going
to work.
Going to work. She had to go to work. So after maybe maybe a week or two of grieving, she still had to go to work.
Yeah.
And she had to work and fight through, the fear and fight through.
Because she was working at a big
really,
multinational company.
Yeah, absolutely. A big multinational company. And they didn't have the bandwidth.
No.
She was a manager. They didn't have the bandwidth to allow her to have that space to kind of grieve and find some level of balance, right? And so seeing that, I was just kind of focused on, okay, I got to provide, I got to figure out some things. I was still running my wedding company, Felicity Moments, back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't heard those words in a long time.
Felicity Moments.
We'll
get to that later. But long story short, she turned to me one day and she said, hey, Tristan, like, you've been taking care of me, but have you grieved for a child? And I was like, no, I never even thought I needed to, because I was so focused on her, and I was just like, it was about her body and what her body went through. But I realized I was grieving in silence and not knowing. And so there was a little bit of a period going into 2021 where we were just really trying to figure out what our cadence was, redefine what our values were, what we needed. And at that point in time, she came to me. She's like, I think I'm ready to be a part of the business. And to be honest with you, I wasn't really excited about it, because I had asked her from day one when we were married, like, be a part of the business, like let's do it. And she just didn't see.
12 years in, she's like, all right, I think you got what it takes.
Yeah.
I can join.
You see what I'm saying? And so it was a little bit of a ego thing I had to work through, where it's like, no, like, I built this, like, you want to come in now because you think it's easier than what you have, right? And let's be honest, right?
I love it.
I'm just going to be 1,000%, right? And but I can say, hindsight being 2020, looking back, that was a wrong attitude to have, because at the end of the day, if I ask you for a burger and I'm hungry, and it takes you 2 hours instead of 2 minutes, but I'm still hungry and I still want the burger, and you finally give me the burger, I should be happy about the burger and not be mad about
it took 2 hours. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Because maybe you were stuck in traffic for 2 hours.
Right.
Maybe you had to save a cat in a tree. You don't know. Maybe you're on the brink of bankruptcy and you borrowed $2 from somebody else to buy me that burger.
Right.
And it took you 2 hours to get that. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you got me the burger, right? And I think in a lot of ways we complain about timing and overlook the same thing that we were hoping, praying.
Yeah, the answer is there.
The answer is right there.
But you're mad about the timing.
Yeah, but we're in our feelings and wasting time in our feelings. When the facts are saying, hey, okay, we're together. We're a team.
Yeah.
We're a team together. So from there, once she came on board, we had some real deep conversations, and we were like, yeah, we don't think we want to do weddings anymore. And so we kind of transitioned. It took us about a year to wean all of our clients that we had booked from like 2020, 2019, all the way to 2022. And just last year, we had no more weddings, and we closed down Felicity Moments, and we focused solely on both our corporate and commercial production company, Barrocks Inc., and I made a commitment to transition into commercial work. And not only that, Natanya has now transitioned into commercial producing. Yeah. And she's actually produced a couple of things for some really large brands in Canada. So yeah, it's pretty dope. Yeah.
So okay, let's talk about this again. It's ex parte here because Natanya's not here. Maybe we should be talking to Natanya.
Yeah, maybe you should get her behind on.
Maybe the real star in this duo here is actually get this bum out of the seat. Let's get Mrs. Barrocks in the building.
Bum. It's okay.
I'm a bum. No, but I would love, she put in that work in terms of understanding the business, bettering herself, and being prepared to be a support and to be a leader within the company. Mm-hmm. And so now you guys are in a position where the very things that you have set out as goals, you were able to accomplish hand in hand, instead of you saying, let's say you had this idea yourself. Mm-hmm. Of I want to move away from weddings, and again, event-based cinematography and photography is very demanding, draining. Mm-hmm. So you got to be a lifer to be able to do those type of things and give up your a lot of your free time. Mm-hmm. So being able to move into a corporate direction, you would still have to do all the work, like you talked about the burger. But now you have a partner who is helping you with the workload, who is providing insight and feedback, who is able to assist you, one hand washing the other hand.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think one of the things, so we just last week, we produced and I directed, Natanya produced her very first full on from beginning to end commercial, and I directed it. And shout out to Angel Navarro III. You already know who you are. He's one of the dopest DPs out there, and so many other people that were part of that production that helped us out. And when I say help us out, I don't mean I didn't pay people. I paid people. Okay,
come on now.
Straight up. Listen. We are gonna pay people. That's the movement that we're on, right? That being said, the point I'm trying to make is she just realized, and I just realized, like, I always saw this in her. I always saw the ability that she had to manage and to delegate and to plan and to orchestrate and to be the puppet master behind all of the productions I have planned and just the productions I've seen, because I've seen producers. I've worked with producers in the past. But it's one thing for you to see it. It's one thing for me to see it. It's one thing for her to see it. And I think she really got to see from beginning to end that, oh, shoot. So when I planned that family cruise for 40 people and we were dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars, this is very similar to that. Oh, when I planned this work when I was working at Home Depot, or I was doing the schedule every single week, that was practice for building out a production schedule. Or when I was doing one-to-one meetings and negotiations, that's like doing one-to-one negotiations with different vendors. Oh, so this is all connected. All of these skills are transferable. But what will happen is when you jump into a new pond or into a new sandbox, they will present the rules as if you have never done anything before in your life, and they will change certain things, certain language things, certain terminologies. So then it makes you feel like you have no experience and you don't bring any value. But the reality is, you have the experience, you have the value, you just don't have the translation yet. And once you have the translator, then all of a sudden it unlocks all of the potential that you always had. You just didn't realize it because somebody told you, oh, you weren't in this sandbox before. Therefore, you're not worthy enough to be able to manage and do and be successful here. You have to start from ground up. No, I don't believe that. I believe the skills I have are still valuable, and all I have to do is understand the terminologies, give me the translator, and I'll be good in any sandbox.
Wow. We're going to end the podcast. No, I'm playing. We're not done yet, but I think that's a great segue to talk about what you've learned and what you've seen inside the commercial space. Particularly, we're seeing now in the past, since we've last spoke, we've seen the rise of inclusivity and diversity become more of a topic, at least on the mainstream media, at least on social media. Everyone posted their black squares. But now, are you seeing changes in terms of receptivity, inclusivity of culture, especially in a country known for being very diverse in the city of Toronto? Are we seeing that in our city, that people are being diverse, that people are being given opportunities, that people are shown, say, listen, your experience here is going to allow you to do this here. We're going to give you the translation, as you said, and afford you an opportunity to take a step?
So I'm going to say something kind of off the wall, maybe a little radical, but like, I don't believe that diversity equates to equality. Diversity and equality are not the same thing. Okay. I love my favorite package of Skittles is the purple one, because the berries one, right? And they have the green apple. Your analogies are hilarious. And I specifically eat or save the green apples for later because they're my special ones, and I eat all the other stuff later, right? I follow me now.
Okay, I'm following.
The bag of Skittles is diverse, right?
Yes, it is.
But I'm very selective at which one is my favorite and which one I eat the last, because that's my special one. And that's what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. The thing that I want to be clear about is it's not just like it's not black and white. Like, oh, that person's racist and the other person's not racist. Like, it's not like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that we have inherent biases.
100%.
Okay, sorry?
100%.
We have inherent biases. And so we have to ask why Tristan is not qualified, or why we have to, like, there's only, and again, in Canada, there's probably maybe 15 to 20 repped black artists.
Huh?
Like, represented black artists. I think maybe, even if I'm very generous and I say 30, that's like a very low significant, low percentage of the populace